Hello, my English 113 students. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to week 9, and now we shift gears. Bum, bum, bum. We head into the final part of this semester. And there's good news and there's good news and good news. Well, there's bad news. It depends on your view of news. So, what we're doing this week is that we're going to be reviewing MLA formatting. And you get to begin working on Writing Project 2. Writing Project 2 is connected to Writing Project 3, and we'll explain all that in just a second. But for MLA formatting, the papers you're going to be writing, you're going to be writing 2 more papers for this class, although it's really one paper and one annotated bibliography. We'll explain that in a second, but it's going to be an MLA formatting. I have created this video which walks you through step by step how to set up an MLA formatted paper. So if you've ever struggled with MLA formatting, this is wonderful. It will help you very much. Yay, MLA formatting, we love you. Yes, okay. Also, there's an example here of what an MLA formatting paper would look like. So if you click on this PDF here, it'll download it over here, and then when we look at it, this is what an MLA formatted paper should look like. So when you get done writing your MLA paper, you compare to this. Does it look the same? If the answer is no, then you've done it wrong. Yes. Anyway, this video shows you how to create this, so it'll look like that. Ta-da! Okay. So what else are we doing this work? There is another lecture on research, the basic concepts of research. Why do you need to know about research? Well, for this class, we have done a poetry section, we've done a short story section, we've done a really a play / novel with Raisin in the Sun. For this class, English 113, you get to research a literary work. And since we have already read Raisin in the Sun, you get to do that one. Yay! What exactly does that mean? So, again, after you've watched, so this week is really in 2 different parts. So there's MLA formatting review, and then there you have a quiz based on that. So that's really kind of one part of what we're doing this week. The second part is going to get us started into what we're doing for the rest of the semester, which is the research. So this video, watch here about research. Now let's take a look at Writing Project 2. Now Writing Project 2 is, again, it's an annotated bibliography. You should have done one of these before. At least in 112 you should have done one of these. If not, there is help next week, which I'll show you. But, so just take a deep breath. Okay. So, the gist of it is that you're going to be researching the narrative devices used in Raisin in the Sun, okay, that developed the theme. The narrative devices developed in the theme. Now, up to this point in time in this class, I have asked really for your insight on the book or the story Raisin in the Sun. I wanted you to compare it to other stories and really kind of see your idea of audience and even talk with your fellow classmates about that in the discussion. The next step is that sometimes to really understand a work, you need to dig in deeper and see what other people have done and learn about this stuff. So we're kind of taking you out of the equation, and now we're looking at it from a more academic point of view. So you're going to be doing some academic research of Raisin in the Sun, and to do that you're going to look at the narrative devices and the identified theme of Raisin in the Sun. Well, what are those? Well, it kind of is really up to you to figure that out by your research paper. Okay, so as you do research, you're going to research what are the themes of Raisin in the Sun, what narrative devices were used in Raisin in the Sun. You're going to then create an annotated bibliography. If you're not sure what that is, hang on to your hats because I'll show you in a second. You will need a total of 4 sources. 4 sources on this subject. Okay, 4 sources on this subject that you will then use to write your paper. Your paper is actually Writing Project 3. So Writing Project 2 is actually just the annotated bibliography that will help you write Writing Project 3. They are connected, and both of them are very important to what you're supposed to learn in this class. Now, for Writing Project 2, we'll talk about this a little bit more next week, but understand that there's going to be different parts of this. There's basically kind of like a research journal. You're going to find a scholarly source, 4 of them, that talk about Raisin in the Sun, and then you're going to answer some questions. Okay, so an annotated bibliography is basically you find a source. Let's scroll down here. Okay, for example, this would be a source, not for the one you're going to be using, but you would find a source. Okay, and then an annotated bibliography is that you then evaluate that source. You answer some questions based on that source. Okay, that deals with that information. So in this case, it's going to be evaluating the content, evaluating the rhetorical setting, and then a conclusion. Now, what should be in each of these sections? Well, that is outlined right here. Evaluating the content, evaluating the rhetorical setting. So you just basically answer these questions, and then your concluding entry. So, once again, for writing project 2, you're going to write an annotated bibliography. In MLA formatting, you need 4 sources. In each source, you need to answer these 3 sets of questions, and you'll put them on a separate piece of paper. What? That seems like a lot of work. Well, yeah, it is. But the amount of work you put into this will help you with your writing project 3, which is the big paper and really the kind of the capstone of the required English classes for Shaw University. Okay, now you're freaking out a little bit. Don't worry about it. Take it through step by step. Now let's kind of go back to this. So again, I just introduced the concept to you. So what you should start to do is that now you have until the 17th to get the rough draft of just the annotated bibliography. And you're like, I need more information on that. No problem. Next week, week 10, is we actually have a lecture on annotated bibliography. There's a sample paper that will actually explain kind of basically how to do it. And you can see an example of what it would look like. Oh, okay, it's not so bad. But you have basically to the end of week 10 to work on that annotated bibliography. And there'll be a quiz next week on annotated bibliographies. So, again, for this week, take a deep breath. So just remember, the main thing this week is to MLA formatting, okay? And then watch this thing on research. This thing on research, this video on research, this lecture here will help you then try to figure out how you're going to do the research for writing project 2. And then you have a quiz on MLA formatting, which deals with these things. And we'll get much more into annotated bibliographies next week. Okay? So yes, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. But again, if you take it through bite by bite, step by step, we have really the rest of the semester to be working on writing project 2 and writing project 3. Okay. And also as a friendly reminder, so last week in week 8, you were assigned the poetry/short story presentation. You should still be working on that because that is due at the end of week 10. All right. Did I confuse you enough? I hope not. If you have questions, please let me know. But again, for this week, video, there's an example. Watch a video. Just read this to become familiar with it. Take the formatting quiz. Start thinking about things you want to talk about with, or you want to research with Raisin in the Sun, and then next week we'll get into more of that. Okay, so there you go. Have a good week.